other than me, any talk of trading is BS. There's nothing to it. It's just nothing to it.
Jerry, you had said a couple weeks ago in an interview with Stephen A. that you were never considering trading Micah Parsons. Was that a tactic at the moment, or did your tune eventually change in the last couple of weeks?
Do you really think if I wanted someone to be interested in him that I would say, oh, I'm going to trade him? It's the opposite. It's the opposite, of course. And I thank you for writing it.
Oh, here we are, just like we all predicted it, a shocker out of Dallas. We need to break this thing down and dissect it from every angle because it is a lot to unpack. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to First Take. That's Stephen A. Smith, Dan Orlovsky, Cam Newton on the big screen. Good to see you, Cam. Gentlemen, can we just get this started? Yeah. All right, the blockbuster trade. Let's go. Jerry versus Micah finally came to a head. The Cowboys traded four-time Pro Bowl edge rusher Micah Parsons to the Packers yesterday. In exchange, the Cowboys received three-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle Kenny Clark and two first-round draft picks. Here's Jerry on that trade last night.
This gives us a better chance to be a better team than we have been the last several years. Since Micah's been here. Not any negative on Micah, but we're trying to get better. We're trying to stop the run and stay in the hunt.
The things that were said in the media about the agent, any things like that, is there any things that you would do differently if you were to go back?
Oh, no. No, not at all. And nothing at all in terms of regret. If you mentioned, you're asking if I regret. No, I don't regret that at all. You know, I'm very, very excited about the prospects of what we've done for the Cowboys here. I wouldn't have done it. So I'm excited. We got what we wanted. Make no mistake about it. We all know we could have signed Micah. But we decided to go with the trade.
All right, it's going to help them stop the run and be in the hunt. Meanwhile, Micah released a statement on social media Thursday saying, in part, I never wanted this chapter to end, but not everything was in my control. My heart has always been here, and it still is. Through it all, I never made any demands. I never asked for anything more than fairness. I only asked that the person I trust to negotiate my contract be a part of that process. Stephen A. Jerry told you he was never going to trade Micah face to face. Are you surprised this happened?
He also heard me face to face telling him I don't believe him, not for 1 second. And certainly that ended up being the case because this is what it is. This is a disaster for Jerry Jones. This is a bad, bad situation. And I think this is something that's going to taint whatever legacy he hoped to have because this is not a football decision. He can slice it any way he wants to. Micah Parsons is a superstar caliber player in the National Football League. You traded him for 2 late first-round picks. That's late. The Green Bay Packers haven't had a top 10 pick since 2009. They're usually in contention. This is going to be a low first-round pick. You made them younger. You made them better defensively, okay? So you take those things into consideration, and they're within the NFC conference. You know what? If you're going to trade Micah Parsons, trade him out of the conference or trade him to somebody like New Orleans or somebody like that. You don't trade him to a Green Bay Packers team, who, by the way, is the last team to whip your ass in the playoffs. When you were in the playoffs, the people that bust your tail was the Green Bay Packers. And so the reason why this is kind of something, Cam and Dio, that's going to taint Jerry Jones is because in the end, we're all looking at it and we know this is not purely a football decision. 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark, a defensive tackle who had a down year last year, does not equate to a superstar at age 26 that is Micah Parsons. By the way, Clark is 3 years older. It doesn't equate to that. If you had made this deal in March and opened the floodgates to everybody, then there's no question that you would have had a better deal offered to you than the deal that you just agreed to. Last year with CeeDee Lamb, when you waited till August to sign him, you cost yourself like $64 million. $64 million in space that you could have utilized to get additional talent on the squad. So you waiting and waiting and waiting, that's not new to us. That's bad, but it's not new to us. What's new to us is that this was clearly not for football reasons. This was because you thought you had a handshake agreement with a young man that was basically pleading with you, talk to my representation, and you ignored him. And by the way, it's the same agent you're going to have to deal with when it comes to George Pickens if you want to re-sign him, assuming he plays lights out and he's somebody you want to keep on your roster because he's got the same agent as Micah Parsons. all of these things that you take into consideration for Jerry Jones to make this move, I mean, for me personally, it doesn't bother me. This is gonna give me more stuff to laugh about. But on this particular morning, I don't like to see Jerry put himself in this kind of position. It looks very, very bad. This is not a good day for the Dallas Cowboys at all.
Cam, I want to kick it to you. Are you surprised?
Absolutely not. I'm more surprised that, you have a situation where, Stephen A., your words, this is not a football decision. If anything, I will combat that and say this is everything about the football decision.
Okay.
Trading Micah Parsons freed up $24 million in 2025 salary cap space, boosting availability funds for over $44 million. On top of that, at the bare minimum here, you could potentially get three good players for the price of one. Now, granted, is Micah Parsons a cornerstone player for the Dallas Cowboys? Absolutely. Being able to garner 52.5 sacks over a 4-year span, unheard of, exceptional. But when you're saying price to value, Jerry Jones has identified and said this: what somebody was willing to pay a person, I was not willing to pay. In order for you to get the person that is still up on the contract for the Dallas Cowboys, you're going to have to pay top dollar, which the Green Bay Packers did. When I'm looking at this whole situation, I'm saying, hey, is this an emotional impact to the locker room? Yes. But for the betterment of the locker room, you have an opportunity to get three potential players for future situations. That is undoubtedly something that you will want to say as a decision maker. But here's the thing, though, Stephen A. and Dan, to think about. We will know if this is a good trade for the Green Bay Packers in less than 6 months. We won't know if this is a good trade for the Dallas Cowboys until about 2 to 3 years after those picks have already made their impact in the
I think we're dealing with some technical difficulties with Cam, but I want to kick it to you. It's a good time to pause anyway, because we're on polar opposites. Stephen A. just said this is personal, not business, and then Cam saying this is purely football. But obviously with the Dallas Cowboys, it's going to take some time to see how it all pans out. Green Bay, he says the next 6 months, we're going to know whether this was the right choice. Where are you on this?
If it's purely football, it's a disaster, and it's one of the worst trades in the history of the organization. Cam knows this. There's only so many game records. There's only so many game records. There's people who change games. This guy is one of the 6 or 7 game records in the NFL. You don't give that player away for the 30th pick of the draft for 2 years in a row. And while I agree with Cam, we're going to know with Green Bay, because Green Bay unquestionably is the team now most equipped to beat the Eagles. They should be in the NFC Championship game. I know what Green Bay's defense is going to be like. I don't have to figure out if this is a win for them. I know. Now, they got to go win the Super Bowl for the ultimate prize to pay off. But there's no way that you're the Dallas Cowboys, you're better. There's no way you're better as a football team. There's no way that you're better in a locker room. I've heard the stories or the thoughts of culture, and while I respect that, I've never heard anybody talk about Micah being a bad worker or a bad teammate or not a competitive dude. And so that's what you want out of your best players, is to be these guys that every single Sunday show up. They failed in the playoffs not because the defense got boat raced, because the offense didn't show up. Of course, that's going to be frustrating. And so I look from a football perspective. Stephen A. is 100% right. To get that late of a trade-off, pick-wise, is such...